and welcome. I'm Robin Forster with FeelSoAlive and FeelSoAlive Informed. And welcome if you're viewing us live or on the replay is great. And just to let you know how this program runs, we go for about 30 minutes, and I usually pull in 2 different pre-recorded interviews, and usually one of our guests is a healer and one of our guests is also a business person. Not to say that healers aren't, but I wanted to focus a little bit more on business tips. And today we're going to be doing it a little bit different. Because it's the end of the year, what I wanted to do today was kind of review the healers that we've been talking about and interviewing all of 2020, because we have some amazing healers, fascinating people, and I have a feeling that there might be something there that you've been looking for and didn't know and may be able to find it. And all of the interviews individually you'll be able to find on our YouTube channel, and that is FeelSoAlive Marketing Group. And I'll tell you more about that later too. If you're wondering why I'm looking off to the side, I'm trying something new, of course, and it's a teleprompter. I thought that might be a little bit more fun than looking down at my papers all the time, but we'll see. And let me know. I'm really curious and always looking to improve this program. Today we started a little bit late because we had some technical issues. Everything that I had gotten all set up yesterday, so it was fine and wonderful, disappeared. Not sure what happened, so today could be a little wonky, but it's 2020. Okay, so my intent is to bring you bite-sized chunks of information that you can use, that you can apply today to your life or to your business. And the reason that I developed this program, actually the program developed itself, I just am along for the ride, was that I saw all the struggles that people were going through having to transition to a post-COVID world. And we all know what that's been like. So this is my way of giving back, and we hope that you find value here and share this program with others. But before we get started, our world is currently in a lot of pain, and I know that you know. Let's take just 30 seconds to lower or close our eyes, to pause, and to send out some good vibes, a prayer, a blessing, white light for the planet, whatever it is that fits for you. Let's just go ahead and take about 30 seconds to do that. And if you want to just put your eyes down or close your eyes, that's fine, whichever works for you. Okay, let's come back together. And thank you for taking that moment with me. So next, what we're going to be doing on our program is, usually I would be introducing a healer, but today I want to do a review of all of the healers. And in case you've missed some that you're interested in, this will be just a really quick review, and it's all on my YouTube station, so you can go and view. Because we've had some healers that are fascinating people, incredible stories and journeys to how they got to where they are in their healing. And also they were all so gracious to just donate their time, and I really appreciate that. So let's see if I can pull that slide up, because this may or may not be true. Nope, that would be the wrong one. 1 second while we play here. That's still the wrong one, but I have faith that we can get to the right one here. Aha! There we go. And let's take Austin off of here. He will be on later. He's going to be talking about our homes and how to take care of our homes for the winter. So what I wanted to share with you all is, in March we had Connie Katie talk, and she, let's see, Our first guest was Connie Katie, who's a really neat lady, and she includes a number of different healing modalities that she shared with us. And part of her journey and her story was coming out of an abusive relationship and her journey towards healing. And she's from Eugene, Oregon, which is where I am. And then in May, we talked to Beth Simons, who is a Reiki master. Reiki master. I've been doing that all day. I'm not sure what's going on. And she shared with us her niche partnership consulting business. And it's interesting. She works on the financial side. It's what she does is just really fascinating. And she is from Pennsylvania. And in May, we also had Wendy Sugar, who shares her love of the outdoors with her Happy Hikers Fitness. And she has lost over 140 pounds, and she has kept it off. And she is also from Western Oregon. In April, we had Dr. Melanie Carlone, and she was sharing with us her extensive experience globally, and specifically about breath work. And she lives here in Eugene now. In May, we heard from Vanessa Morgan with Body Wisdom, and she shared about centering our mind, body, spirit, and how important movement is, and she lives in Long Island. And all of these folks gave us 5 different tips at the end of their little 10-minute segment, things that we can do and apply to our life now so that we can feel better and also share with other people who are looking for some tips. And in June, we heard from Elizabeth Barber, who is a shaman and a life and business coach, and she wrote a great readable book. And in her 10-minute segment, her tips, she had 7 daily rituals, and she's now living in the Carolinas. In June, we also heard from Lotta Corral. She was a neighbor of mine. She moved a little bit ago across town. And she is, it's hard to describe her because she is so good with so many different modalities. But she is a channeler. She's also an intuitive. She is a Reiki master and teaches Reiki. And she and her mom work together in the healing space, which I just think is neat. And they're both originally from Russia. So a little different perspective, which I appreciated. In July, we had Elisa Williamson. She is a business and intuitive coach, and she's blending her healing skills, theta and intuition, to help business owners get out of their own way. And she has recently moved to Eugene from the Bay Area. And in July, we had Laurel Shaman. She is a leadership, life, and love coach. And she shared, and yes, love coach, absolutely, she's a matchmaker. She shared with us a bit about intuitive eye reading and how she combines different modalities, including body psychology coaching. And she's from Washington State. In August, we had a computer meltdown, and so that was our bye month. And you don't even want to know all the stories with that one. And in September, we met with Marina Orms, and she is a retired holistic nurse and an astrologer. It was a fascinating interview. It was very fun. September, my old friend Mary Wheeler, who is a massage therapist, and I met here in Eugene networking. She is a healer and an author. She has 2 whole series of healing videos on Amazon, and we talked about breathing, and she's got some great tips. And I learned a lot from her. In October, I asked Dr. Melanie Carlone if she would come back and talk more about our structure and about breathing, because breathing is the key to our nervous system. And I don't know about you, but maybe you can relate to this. There has been times when I'm standing at my standing desk and just working, and I realize I'm holding my breath or I'm shallow breathing. And neither of those work very well. So I'm really fascinated with breathing. In October, we had Cindy Myers, and she is an energy healer and intuitive, and she was an engineer for the Navy back in the day. So she shared some great daily routine tips, because it just seems like if we have a routine set up and we have some positive habits that we're doing, it really helps the rest of our life. So I appreciated her tips. November was a little bit different. I asked my friend Frank King to share with us about mental health and about suicide. And he has a totally different point of view around mental health. And then also we had Valerie DeLugo, who's a therapist, and she shared with us a number of great tips for creating the kinds of relationships that we want. And she is in Florida, and Frank is here in Eugene. So it's been a very full year for our program, and we're looking forward to 2021. We will be pivoting our focus a bit, and I know a lot of people are getting tired of using that word pivot, so I use it cautiously. But we're going to be focusing a little bit more on women who are preparing for or are retiring, because that's my peeps. That's where we are. So just thought I'd let you know about that, and let's see if we can get this to work. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have Austin come on, and Austin Lovies is with Cascade Construction and Plumbing, and he started the company, and he's got a really fascinating background. But today, just because I asked him to come back, and if you want to see his first interview that was in the spring, he was talking about our homes and how to take care of them for spring and summer. Well, now he's coming back to tell us how to take care of our homes for the fall and winter. So cross your fingers that this actually works. Excellent, we're recording. Hi, I'm Robin Forster with FeelSoAlive and FeelSoAlive Informed. And I have brought or asked Austin if he would be willing to come back and talk to us again, because we're heading into the fall/winter in Western Oregon. And Austin owns a construction company called Cascadia Construction. And so I thought he would be a perfect person to come talk to us about home maintenance. What is it that we're not thinking about that we should be doing? So Austin, if you would like to say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Excellent. And I have 3 questions that I usually ask people. And so some of it Austin's going to do really short because he was on earlier in the spring. But the 3 questions is for Austin to tell us a little bit about himself, for those of you who are watching on the replay who didn't see the one previously this year, and then how he got drawn into doing this kind of work. And then he's going to talk to us about maintenance. So Austin, would you like to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Austin Lovies. I started Cascadia Construction and Plumbing 5 years ago. I have 2 partners who are plumbers. And just a little bit about myself. I'm married, have 2 young kids. I've been in Eugene for, probably 30 years of my life. Did a little bit of time abroad and then a little bit of time in other parts of Oregon. But always come back here because it's home. Graduated from the University of Oregon in 2005 with a bachelor's in business. And then here I am. So how I got started into construction was in my high school and college time. I was working after school, and I was working at a home improvement place called Jerry's, which is our local kind of home improvement store. And that's what's really sparked the interest in doing construction and learning a lot about different trades as I kind of cycled my way around the store in different departments, and got a little well-rounded knowledge, and then got out on my own after college, working for different general contractors in the area until I met my partners and started Cascadia Construction and Plumbing.
Oh, excellent. Okay. That's helpful to know. And you were talking another time we were chatting about how many years have you been out in the construction field and working with people who were mentoring you and learning on the job, so to speak?
Yeah, so once I graduated college, I stopped working at Jerry's, the home improvement store, and started doing construction in the spring, winter, and fall times. And then I was doing rafting in the summer. But so back in 2005 is when I really started working in the construction industry.
Oh, excellent. And rafting, I didn't know about. Good to know you're a water person.
Oh, yeah.
This is Eugene, after all.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so enough of sidetracking. And the reason I'm looking down is I have my questions written down here. Okay, so you told us a little bit about you and how you got drawn into this line of work. And so as a homeowner and even a renter, how do we start weatherizing so that when fall, winter comes, the weather changes, freezing, what is it that we need to do or start looking at to protect our homes and keep everything working?
Yeah. So just starting off in the home, kind of the basics as far as making sure that your windows all shut and your doors shut and the weather stripping is good on all of the exterior doors. That'll help you keep a more comfortable temperature. in the house, keep you comfortable. But as we work ourselves outside, there are many areas that we need to look at as we get into the winter time to make sure that our house is protected during the extreme weathers, whether it's snow, really cold weather, freezing weather, or heavy rains and wind. So we can start just at the bottom of the house. You want to make sure that your crawl space is not getting saturated with water during the rainy time. So if you look under your house into the crawl space, you shouldn't have any standing water. Standing water can be a sign that maybe your storm drains aren't working properly. You need to reroute your gutters or your downspouts, or you have a leak under the house. So things that you need to just kind of being aware of. So make sure you don't have any water under the house. That can lead to mold issues down the road. A lot of people put foundation vent covers around their house during the winter time, and that's a good and a bad idea. So knowing that, yes, you should put them around your house, or you can put them around your house when it's really cold out. So when it's in the 20s and lower temperatures, it's a good idea to put them up there to keep any exposed pipes from freezing. But you want to remove them from your foundation, because it's really important that you're getting airflow movement under the house. That's important because there's going to be a little bit of moisture in there no matter what you do, and you want that airflow so that you don't have mold growing in there. It helps dry out that and kind of just keeping the movement of the air circulating. So important to know, don't leave your foundation covers on your foundation for an extended amount of time. 1 week max is what I would say, unless we're having just severe cold weather. And then as we kind of work our way up, making sure your storm drains are cleaned or your downspouts, they're clear, and making sure your gutters are working properly. That's one of the big things is, a lot of people think, okay, I've cleaned my gutters. I've done it once this year. I don't need to do it anymore. Well, it's something, depending on how many trees you have around your house, that you need to do more frequently. Because once those downspouts and those gutters start clogging up, then you have water running over and getting into the fascias and then going into your soffits and into your framing. It just can spiral out of control. So just making sure that your gutters are cleaned, your downspouts are cleaned, and that your storm drains, if you do have storm drains, are working properly. Other things to look for is just winterizing your irrigation system, just simple things like that. So making sure that your irrigation system, if you have one, has been winterized, has been properly winterized, so you have air in the system and no longer water. If you have a backflow device, making sure that you have that winterized as well with your irrigation system. And so just making sure you're walking around the house and seeing if you have any trees or bushes kind of rubbing up on the house. With all of the water that we're getting, if you do have a lot of bushes around your house, that will possibly lead to potential water infiltrating behind your siding, kind of rubbing away on the siding, and water getting back in there and can lead to dry rot. So just trying to have a good 2-foot gap around your house, around the siding and around the roof at least, where you don't have different plants or trees growing. Let's walk through as we go up above, making sure if you do have a chimney and you plan on using your fireplace, that it has been cleaned out and inspected, and making sure that you're good to use for the winter time. That's a big safety hazard. If you don't clean your chimney out, then it can lead to a fire within the chimney and a house fire. So making sure that you are cleaning that out.
Austin, I am taking zillions of pages of notes here, just to let you know why I'm looking down, because it's like, oh yeah, I feel like you're looking at my house and walking around. It's like, oh yeah, So keep going. Chimney sweep. That's really good, because I have had a creosote fire before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, was very lucky that someone was driving by and stopped and came and said, "Do you know that your flue's on fire?" I was like, "No, actually, I didn't know that." Thank you for telling me. So yeah, it's a little scary. Thankfully, nothing else happened. It just burned itself out, but we were lucky.
Yeah, it's
So
just something you want to have checked out, once a year by a professional, and make sure it's nice and clean if you plan on, having fires throughout the winter, which are always lovely
yeah.
in the home. And then another thing just for your home as well is making sure you're changing your HVAC filter. Especially with all the smoke that we've had here in Oregon recently, changing that filter is a good idea. And then, you always want to have a yearly maintenance. Typically that's done in the spring on your HVAC system, but if you haven't had one of those recently, make sure you have a professional out there to look at that. And then, especially with all of the ash that we had in the air, if you were running your AC unit during that time, it will be sucking in some of that ash around the fan. And so you want to make sure that that's been cleaned out.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. And I think you have a few more pointers there, don't you?
Yeah. So like using your hose, making sure your spigots around your hose spigots around your house have been winterized. A lot of people have, on the newer homes, have a frost-free hose spigot, which looks a little bit like this, where the shutoff to the hose or to the water is actually within the wall cavity in an insulated area. But one thing people forget, they think they have a frost-free hose spigot that they can just leave it with the hose attached, and you have to make sure that you get that hose unattached so that water can drain out of this pipe, and that way you're not trapping any water in here that would freeze over the wintertime. So it's fine to use your hose faucets throughout the wintertime, if you need to, hose off a bike like you were saying, Robin. But making sure you disconnect the hose after the fact. And then if you don't have a frost-free hose spigot, making sure that you put one of those insulated covers over it, and that it's well protected during the wintertime. And it's always a good idea to store the hoses inside because during the freeze, the rubber can stiffen up and start to crack. So storing them, inside your garage is a good idea.
Oh, excellent. Austin, you've just created so much work for me. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But this is good. Okay, so thinking about the roof, because I mean that's a major expense, so we really want to do a good job maintaining it. And we're in the fir trees, and moss and all that kind of stuff. So what is it that we should be doing now to make sure that our roof is okay?
Yeah, depending on what the shape of your roof is, the pitch of it, getting up on the roof, or having a professional get up on the roof, and blowing it off, making sure all the leaves are off the roof, kind of doing a visual inspection, making sure that you put moss treatment on the roof, that you don't have large amounts of moss growing. Because if you do, then water is supposed to shed. It uses gravity to shed off that roof. The moss will slow it down, and the moss will actually start to grow up underneath the shingles and allow water to penetrate that. So making sure you don't have moss on the roofs, making sure you don't have leaves on the roof, branches are away from the roof, and then just doing a visual inspection and seeing if you have any broken shingles. The granules that are on your roof that most people have composite roof shingles on their roof, that the granules are there, that the granules haven't worn off and it's a slick surface. So you just want to do a visual inspection. And if you have any questions, call a local professional.
Oh, excellent. Austin, this is fabulous. I really appreciate your time, and I know you have some projects that you need to get to, but wow, great list to make sure that we're taking good care of our most expensive possession.
Yeah, yeah, your
Yeah.
biggest asset. And thank you very much for having me on, Robin. I really appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. It was great. Thank you. Interesting. So my settings not being there, that didn't exactly work the way I wanted it to, but the point is that he had some really, really great tips for us. And this is also not the right screen. Let me see if I can pull up the right screen here. Every day is always a learning experience. So what we're looking at in January is we normally meet the second and fourth Thursdays, and that'll be January 14th and January 28th. I can't believe I'm saying January. Please do go like us on Facebook at our business page, which is FeelSoAlive Marketing Group. And then if you would subscribe and click the bell on YouTube, and that way you'll know when we broadcast again, so you can catch it. And also our playlists are there for all of the healers for the whole year, and also all of the businesses are in a playlist. So if you go to YouTube and just look for FeelSoAlive Marketing Group, click that little bell and don't forget to subscribe. So thank you all very much. Whether you caught us on the live or you caught us on the replay, we appreciate your time. and hope that you have a fabulous day.